Hello, Junebug, Hubs. Where's everybody at? Can you hear me? Junie and Hubs. Hey, Taffy. StreamYard has a delay, so I popped over here. I can see you, but can you guys hear me? Okay. Good. Well, I know there's Lake. Hey. I know my notification maybe not went out. It wasn't showing up on my channel till just like a few minutes ago. For me, anyway. So we'll wait a little bit. This is a very disturbing and heartbreaking case. Hey, crime. And, I don't know. He might be. Oh, did you, Lake? Good. Hi, Ivy. I know Dana said she was going to try her best to be here. So we'll just wait a few minutes and we'll see. I know oh, is he, Junie? Okay. Well, that might be a little bit of the problem. Okay. Well, I'll wait just a little bit and we'll just go. People can watch it on the replay. No big deal. This case, though, is, like I said, it's disturbing and heartbreaking, but it's also kind of all over the place. There's not a lot of coverage other than news media. I mean, like, nobody really covered it. I mean, I think I found less than a handful of people that did, but they had, in my opinion, misinformation. I did link a couple YouTubers. But other than that, I had a couple articles and the rest was news media. I mean, that's all I had to go off of. It's very heartbreaking, though. Okay, Junie. So I changed my picture. That's actually me, but I don't really like it because YouTube has this thing and it has to fit just right. And so then it's like a real close up and I don't know. I don't know if I'll keep it, but hi, Dana. You're very welcome. Very welcome. I hope I do okay. Yes, Taffy. Yes, it is. It is. It's yeah. And I'll be doing yours Thursday, Taffy. I'll tell you, I spoke with somebody earlier I told him I was going to say this, and I don't know if everybody that, and how much people's looked into this, but this is just me. But this case made me, I was so fired up last night as I was putting this together before I scheduled it. Mad at everybody, just everybody that is involved in this little girl's life. Everybody failed her, and that's my opinion. And I'll get to why I feel that way. So I'm just going to go on and people come in, they do, and if not, they'll see it on the replay. So yes. So hey, Jerry Rocks, how you doing? Hey, Sharon, how are you? When I found out about Victoria back when it happened, I was so mad and so disgusted I cried for weeks. No doubt, Dana. No doubt. Okay. So Victoria Martens. She was born on August 23rd, 2006 in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And she was born to Michelle Martens. And she was also born to Kyle Martinez, who will not be talked about much in this case because he was not in her life. According to her mom, he didn't want nothing to do with Victoria or her mother. And Michelle, her mother, did not put her on the put him on the birth certificate, but he would be about 32 or 33 years old. Of course, that was at the time of the arrest. Jason Olding, who was Michelle's ex-boyfriend, helped raise Victoria, and they had a boy together. They broke up in 2014. And he said he was concerned for the kid's safety and that she had always had multiple boyfriends. Okay, so as we, well, no, maybe not everybody knows because you may not have went through the links, but on August 24th, the body of 10-year-old Victoria was found in an apartment building. In Albuquerque, New Mexico, after responding to a 911 call regarding a domestic dispute, officers discovered Martin's dismembered remains, partially wrapped in a burning blanket in her mother's apartment. The victim's mother, 35-year-old Michelle Martens, her boyfriend, 31-year-old Fabian Gonzalez, and Gonzalez's cousin, 31, Jessica Kelly, were arrested at the scene and charged with first-degree murder, child abuse resulting in grievous bodily harm or death, kidnapping, tampering with evidence, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. 2 of the suspects have pled not guilty in the state's court. On June 29, 2018, Michelle Martens pled guilty to 1 count of child abuse resulting in death. The same day, APD announced a 4th unidentified male suspect. So, Making sure I didn't miss anybody. Okay, so in the beginning, the mother gives a story that okay, first of all, she lets Fabian Gonzalez move in, her boyfriend. Then his cousin gets out of jail, needs a place to stay, and she allows her to move in. And I don't even know where to go. I mean, because like I said, it's all over the place because there's just so many. But that night, Michelle Martens tells the police that they gave Victoria meth to calm her down, and that Fabian and Jessica raped and killed her while she watched. Jessica didn't speak and lawyered up right away. However, she was very interested in what the police knew or what evidence they had and what they thought, you know. And Fabian, who has pretty much maintained his innocence all along, but we'll talk about that. He says that him and Michelle went to his brother's to get pot, and they came home, and Jessica said, "Oh, Victoria's sleeping," and they ate some tacos, they go to bed, they go to sleep, and the next thing, she comes in there and starts attacking them and hits Michelle with an iron. Him and Jessica start fighting. He jumps off the balcony, tries to get help. Michelle runs to her neighbors. Neighbor calls 911. And that's how the cops get there. And then they find Victoria. I'm sorry, I got to back up because Fabian actually saw her using a knife on Victoria, and then supposedly they started fighting. So the police find Victoria dismembered in a blanket in the bathtub on fire. I did put an interview, I linked an interview with the neighbor that called 911. Dana. Note that Michelle didn't even know Fabian. She met him through Plenty of Fish dating site. Thank you, Dana. Yes, that's true. She didn't know, a lot. Yeah. He's just one that she didn't know that she allowed to have sex with her daughter while she watched for pleasure. So, we're going to get to her story that, that's, they say isn't true, which, so they're all arrested, they're all charged, and, Fabian, I don't know why I keep pronouncing his name wrong, he maintains his story from the beginning, and Victoria was 10, Jerry. This was her birthday. This was the night she was murdered on her birthday. So I just want to, before I go further, I want to say how her mother failed her. And everybody knows I hate judgment, and I don't like being judgy, but I'm just going to state facts, okay? I'm just going to state facts because I'm talking about a child. I'm a grandma. I mean, I can pretty much, all the videos I've seen of her, I can tell that something's not quite 100%, but she's not like mentally unstable. And I don't buy the story that her lawyer gave either, that she's a people pleaser and she's going to just tell you what she wants to hear. I mean, maybe she made part of that up that night, or all of it maybe, but I think what she said that night was exactly what happens that always took place. Her daughter had HPV. She could only gotten that one way. So let's just talk about how her mother failed her. She got on the Plenty of Fish dating site and would find men to come and have sex with her daughter so she could get pleasure by that. And she allowed these kind of people around her daughter. Then she let them move in. Then she left her daughter with Jessica Kelly, who had been charged with, well, I mean, the news media said she was a known rapist. I mean, it'd been said that her and Fabio had raped her, and she watched. I'm not talking about that night, other nights. But she left her there with her, knowing she was tweaking out on meth. So she left her in her care. And by the way, not once, but twice. They left twice that night. So, correct me if I'm wrong, Dana, but a year later, correct me if I'm wrong on this time, a year later, they find out that there's a fourth unknown suspect. Because there's some new DNA, partial DNA found on Victoria. And there's none of Fabion's DNA on her. Now, and correct me if I'm wrong here too, Dana. I'm sorry, Dana, but this was a very difficult case. Putting it together and then finding things. I thought I had everything. And then last night when I was trying to link everything, it's like, okay, where'd this go? Where'd that go? And then I had to look for it and I couldn't. So, but a new prosecutor came in, Torres, right? And Then he hired some new, very seasoned detectives. So they're the ones that found this information out. But he also held this information back. Now his explanation, which I can't say I can't say that he's wrong for that. He didn't want the fourth suspect knowing about it, or knowing that they knew and that they were trying to look for him, and so, or that they had any evidence against him, right? Close to the vest type of thing. I mean, it happens in cases, guys. Again, just keep that in mind. This happens. I don't know how many cases we've talked about and discussed that this happens. Just remember that. But anyway, okay, Dana says, thank you for being here, Dana, and making sure I'm getting it right. Dana says, yes, after the autopsy was done and DNA was matched up, there was an unknown male DNA around her neck, under her nails, and inside her private parts. Yes, and I'm sorry, guys, I did forget to tell you that she actually died by asphyxiation by strangulation. And I've also left out, okay. Jessica finally begins to talk, and her story is that when Michelle and Fabian get home, no, here's her story. While they were gone, some man shows up, walks in the house, and says, where's Fabian? She said, he's not here. Then this guy just casually walks on past her into Victoria's bedroom, comes back out, and says, Fabian effed up. Now you and Fabian clean up the mess, or you and your kids will be next. Okay. Which brings me to another question. Where's this woman's kids while she's doing all this? But anyway, then she says when Fabian gets back, they keep Michelle busy, or, and then they together dismember Victoria's body and do all that. But explain to me how they do that. How do you keep somebody busy and do that? But that's her story. And another thing, Michelle and Fabian both, they come home, they eat tacos, they go to bed, they don't, especially the mother, check on their daughter. What parent? My gosh. I mean, am I just ancient? Do I live in a whole nother world? What parent doesn't check on their child before they go to bed? What parent doesn't go in and say goodnight? Even if the child's asleep, what parent doesn't go in and kiss their child on the cheek and whisper in their ear? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm different. But I check on my grandkids. I can't count on both hands. until I lay my head down that final time at night. I am checking on them, and I will kiss them, and I will whisper I love you in their ear. Who comes home and doesn't go in their daughter's bedroom and check on them? But she didn't, and he didn't. Yes, Dana, the prosecutor said they did no sooner, but that was why they didn't say anything. Yes, I linked that where the legal expert, which I like a lot of the things the legal expert said. Fabian is a known gang member, and supposedly when this unknown male came to the apartment, he asked for him, which is his gang. Oh, Fabo, yes, which is his gang name. So, honestly, at first, I wasn't really buying her story on that somebody showed up like that. But then when I heard the story about him getting into it with that gal, and then after they had the verbal argument in person, he was threatening her and then threatening with his gang buddies, and him having a black eye, and it was not from the night of the murder, it was from that night. So that's probably really who did do that, who came there and did that. They think it was retaliation. I mean, that's what they think. That's how you're feeling, Junie? Right, Dana? I did my son too. And when my son was down on his luck, or you all know my son's story. There were times when he got clean and fell back. And while he was getting clean, he was at my house. Well, don't think this mama didn't give him a hug and a kiss at night. Or, I mean, I don't know. By the way, 14 months sobriety for my son. Yeah, right. I don't get it. Yeah, Junie. So that's when, they realize this, they find this DNA, so they drop the charges on the mom, except for they still did charge her with child abuse resulting in death, or she pled, and I don't think she's been sentenced yet, though. I couldn't find it anywhere. She's facing 12 to 15 years, guys. Burns my biscuits. You guys know how I feel about, so trying to figure out which way I want to go now. So it's Jessica and Fabian arguing, back and forth. He's saying she did it. She's saying they did it. Or, I could have linked a whole bunch of stuff, because there's jailhouse calls. and, you know, him blaming her blaming him. Let's see. Start with the grandparents. They filed a lawsuit against APD, Albuquerque Police Department. Is it a legit lawsuit? Lawsuit? Yeah. Yeah, because in my own opinion, and other people may feel differently, we call it CPS here, or DCF. They call it CY something there, but I'm going to call it CPS, guys, okay? But they sure feel different, because they said it wouldn't have mattered either way. It wouldn't have prevented her death. Well, I daggone disagree. I think it very well could have, if they'd have done their job right. So is the lawsuit legit? I think so. But as the legal expert said, when it comes time for court, the grandparents are going to face some tough questions. And by George, they should. Where were they? Where were they all this time? And how could they not know that something was wrong? Yeah, maybe they didn't know their daughter was getting these guys off the dating site and but I mean, you see your daughter having multiple boyfriends, one right after the other, and different guys around, and strange people hanging around the house, and you're not concerned for your grandkids. By the way, thank God the little boy was with his dad, right? Thank God. But not only were these men messing with the daughter, they had messed with the boy too. Exactly, Dana. What kind of person gets pleasure? I mean, it's sickening. It is just. I didn't know that, Dana. I knew that they told a family friend or somebody, because this is where the system fails. Victoria had told somebody that another boyfriend tried to kiss her. So that person called CPS. And you know what CPS says? Well, we don't investigate those type of calls unless it's a parent, a guardian, or someone known to be living in the household. Well, number one, excuse me, it's a boyfriend. I'm sure he was living there. So we turn it over to APD. So, really? I mean, are you serious? They had also gotten 4 other reports, and 2 of them were the same from the mother. Okay? I don't know, but yeah. They investigate those reports. So kids they were well dressed. They didn't have any bruises or marks. So, well, let me tell you guys, and I can tell you from experience, just because a child isn't bruised or doesn't have marks, visible scars, doesn't mean they're not being abused emotionally, sexually, and or neglected. But anyway, so gets turned over to APD. They don't investigate because they don't see that a crime has happened because it wasn't completed. He didn't actually kiss her. So listen, guys, nobody goes to the home, not one home visit. Nobody talks to Victoria about it. Nobody talks to the mom about it. I mean, nothing, nada, not one thing. But guess what? If they had, oh, hey, Cher. Hey, honey. I'm sorry. I hope I have not missed anybody else while I'm talking. But had they went and just made a home visit, because then they would have had to ask some questions, right? And they would have had to say, well, who's the person that tried to kiss her? What's his name? And then guess what? Guess who it was? He had been arrested for kidnapping a child previously. Yeah. And then don't you think that would have led to some further, deeper investigation? At least you would hope so, right? Well, maybe we better check into what's going on in this household. Let's look into who else she's bringing around these kids. Let's talk to some family. Oh, well, let's talk to the boy's father. And, well, then maybe something should take place. So, yeah, I think the little girl's death could have been prevented. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know where the grandparents were. But I'm going to tell you what. They either weren't around very much or their eyes weren't opened. Dana says the grandparents also started a GoFundMe and the public thought it was for Victoria's funeral and burial, but later found out it was to hire a good lawyer for Michelle. What? Well, I missed that, Dana. I didn't see that anywhere. Well, in their interviews, they were like, they said, well, we didn't know Michelle was like this or doing this, but if she was involved, then she needs to get the same amount of time as the other two, which I would feel the same way about my child. But now I'm questioning, were they being truthful? And then I linked the press conference that the family had, and they had a spokesperson, and that was the godmother. So where was she? I mean, I'm really not trying to be judgy here, guys, but I mean, come on. Where were these people? So CPS failed her because their excuse is, I'm sorry, they don't fly with me. They passed the buck. And then APD, and they lied about it. They lied to the public. They lied and said they did investigate. And they got caught. I linked that too. They went before the board. Hey, Band. How you doing, my buddy? And then the judge. I'm not gonna say he failed her, but I don't know what his game was with him playing around with those plea agreements. He said they had a plea agreement for Jessica, and he rejected not one but two, and not for a normal reason that judge rejects plea agreements, okay? But he rejected them because, well, now she can't be a mind reader. He rejected them because she had no idea that this guy was going to come in and kill Victoria. Well, maybe she didn't have an idea, but by gosh, she didn't do any. She just sat there. She let some guy walk in, ask for Fabo, and then just walk right past her and go to that little girl's room. I'd be darned. If a child, and I don't care whose child it is in my care and I'm responsible, and I don't care who it is that comes in, I see them go into that child's bedroom, I'm going to follow him in there and ask him what the hell he's doing. And then I'm going to fight to defend that child. So, so I wasn't happy with that judge. The neighbor really, I think she went through a year of depression from that night. I put that interview in there. I think I've already said that. The unknown male might have killed her, but Jessica Kelly and Fabian cut her little body up, then set it on fire. Who does that? It is banned. It is very. It is. It is. And they said, and this is in New Mexico. They said this was the most horrific crime they've ever come across, ever seen. They said it's something no human being should ever have to see. Exactly, Junie. Right, crime. The former governor, I mean, she was upset. She's the one that called for the FBI to come in. I can't remember who said who it was, but they're calling for the death penalty to come back after this. I mean, so then after all of this, okay, Michelle pled guilty, facing 12 to 15 years. Jessica, the only way the judge would accept her plea is if she pled no contest. So, she pled to 50 years, and then they added 20 more years on. And what was that for? I can't remember, but then get this. See, they've changed the law here in Indiana. She can get that 20 knocked off for good time behavior. But a life sentence only carries 30 years in New Mexico. And part of that plea agreement is that she's going to testify against Fabian at his trial. But guess what? Who knows when he's ever going to go? Because when all those charges got dropped on him, the judge released him. And it's on appeal now. So that's where the case stands right now. Fabian's walking the streets on appeal, and you know how long those can last. Jessica's in jail. Her sister's in jail too for drugs, I think. And Michelle's in jail too, but so I think when Michelle told that story, it might not have been the story, what happened that night exactly, but I think that's what happened a lot of nights. And that's why she was able to just come up with it like that. And the cops said to her after she told them that, oh, what was it they said? Should have wrote it down. These animals, I can't remember what it was. They said now, daggone it. You didn't think they would, in other words, I think they meant you didn't think they would go this far or it would, and she said yes. I think you're right, Taffy, about 8. And he's without a sister now. And his, the dad immediately filed restraining order against all of them after this. Right after it happened. When Fabian was in jail, another inmate beat the crap out of him. You can watch the video on YouTube. If I knew who the inmate was, I would put some money on his books. Well, I did see that last night, Dana, but I couldn't hardly. It was so distorted, like they said, these cameras are not very good cameras, so I couldn't see it very well. But he wasn't home crime. So, he didn't see this happen. But he's old enough to see the news and all that. But I'm sure his dad probably tries to. But, he probably, I'm sure because, it was all over the news. The community bought Victoria a white princess dress and a crown to be buried in, and they paid for her funeral and a little bench with her name on it. Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, and they did a protest outside the courthouse when they released Fabian. Oh, I can't get his name straight. Yes, he was Taffy. She allowed this to happen to both of them. Yeah, Junie. I can tell that she's a little, but not to the extent that she didn't know what she was doing, and she didn't know that she wasn't putting her daughter in danger, and she wasn't. I mean, you know what I mean? Um, I mean, uh, they say she said that Jessica that night hit her with an iron. I mean, you can tell she has like a cut or a gash on her forehead, like where her nose starts. And the 911 caller said she was bleeding. But I mean, we don't really know what happened that night in that house. I mean, they have proof that Fabian and Michelle were gone because their cell phones pinged and stuff. But once they came home, we don't know it's just terrible. Hey, Angel Bear. Yeah, the community's done a lot now. I mean, the godmother was thanking in her press conference everybody for doing a lot. When I was going through today, just prepping, I had seen I didn't watch it. I probably should have, but I saw a video and it said that the grandparents upset because the community was doing a celebration of life for Victoria. I probably should have watched that, but I'm thinking, really? Okay. Good. How are you, Angel Bear? It's possible, Taffy. I mean, it is. We sure are, Jenny. We are. I hope he's okay. And Kangablue, yeah. And somebody else, Barry. Barry doesn't come to the chat, but he always watched the replay and then would comment faithfully. I hope he's okay. I know, Cher. I know. We love our wombat, don't we? Tired, Angel Bear? I think there's something time of the year or what, because everybody's tired. I hate this time of the year. We didn't even have a fall. So, I know there was something else I wanted to say about this case. I just, it's just sad. I mean, everybody failed this little girl. Everybody. I hope this taught I hope people learned from this, such as CPS, APD, some of their excuses and reasonings. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. You've got to just be kidding me. I mean, watching that last night, I was so fired up. I'm telling you, my blood pressure, it took me an hour to fall asleep after. I mean, I was just... Oh, it is, Taffy? We've been checking on him, Angel Bear. He's not responded. He's not even seen my message. Um, but I hope that they did get disciplined. There was a disciplinary action, so I just hope, I do know, I know there are good CPS workers. But I tell you, I see more failed children all the time. Um, they need to step up their game, you know. Too many are falling through the cracks. So that was kind of short. I know I'm not. I feel like I've missed something. Dana, did I hit everything? Wow, that's a lot. 100, Ivy. So much truth to that. Exactly, Taffy. Well, that might be true, but even the ones that there are, when they go out and, I mean, I've seen it so many times. They remove kids for no reason. They leave kids that should be taken, or they just don't do nothing like that, you know? I mean, they get reports, they don't even, you know, I mean, and hey, I'll tell you what, CPS here, they'll admit it because I told their butts for good. And I mean, she admitted it. I mean, where is it? Evansville? They got a big old thing going on. But I know there's good caseworkers. I know there are, but I mean, how many times does CPS have to fail before they do something? Yes, Gabriel Hernandez. Oh man. Oh my gosh, yeah. And they dropped the charge. Yeah. Oh man alive. That was a horrible, horrible, horrible case too. I couldn't even. Oh, you guys, I don't even think I could finish the second episode of that. Right, Dana, right. Yeah, I agree. They do. They need more funding. But I'm not going to give them passes on stuff like that. I'm not. Not me. And that's just me. Yes, like, I so agree. So if you guys don't mind now, I do have I mean, I was hoping Chris would be here because, he likes these type of things. I do too. Ivy does too. Um, it's a short video. I came across it today. It was just one of those, when you're on your computer, those videos on the side, and I saw it and I'm like, so I checked it out and I'm like, wow. So if you guys don't mind watching this with me, it's a victory story. I'd like to share it with you, if everybody's okay with that. I'm going to read Taffy's comment real quick first. A couple in my area have 2 kids. One was removed and the other one wasn't. Yeah, I don't get that either. It's never made sense to me. Okay, guys, I'm going to share this really quick. And I'm going to come back and make sure you guys can see it. Gosh, I feel like I'm brand new doing this. Can you guys see that right there? Can you see that screen? If you can, somebody just thumbs up or just say yeah, that you could see that screen. Let me go over here real quick. StreamYard's so delayed. I know, Cher. So could you guys see that screen though? I'm taking that you can. Okay, here we go.
Now to a fairly different type of redemption story. A man who maintained his innocence through almost 17 years in prison has finally been released, thanks to his own detective work helping track down his own look-alike. Turns out, looks can be deceiving. Here's ABC's Alex Perez.
Finally free. After 17 years behind bars, a man who says he was wrongfully convicted returning to loving arms.
I hope and prayed every day for this day to come, and and when it finally got here, it was an overwhelming feeling.
Richard Jones's nightmare over after tracking down another prisoner, his doppelganger, and the discovery casting doubt on his guilty verdict.
I believe it was a striking resemblance. It just blew me away.
Nearly 20 years ago, Jones was charged with aggravated robbery in Kansas City, Kansas, after being accused of trying to steal a purse in a parking lot. Jones had provided an alibi, and no physical evidence ever linked him to the crime. The case relied instead on eyewitness testimony. The victim told police the suspect was thin to medium build, tan with dark hair pulled back, and out of a photo lineup of 6 mugshots, Jones was identified. That eyewitness testimony landed him behind bars. But all along, Jones adamantly maintained his innocence and tried to appeal his conviction.
I couldn't let someone else's mistake make me waver in my faith and ever make me shy away from what was real and what the truth was, and that was I was innocent, and I knew it.
After 15 years of incarceration and declined motions, Richard Jones reached out to the University of Kansas School of Law Project for Innocence and the Midwest Innocence Project, where law students took on his case and met with their client.
During that visit, Mr. Jones actually said to the students, "I keep getting mistaken for this guy named Ricky Amos."
Back at the office, the students searched the Kansas Department of Corrections database for Ricky Amos. And here's what they found. That's Jones on the right, Amos on the left. Both men with almost identical skin tone, facial hair, and cornrows.
That was sort of our jumping off point to then try and get Mr. Jones back into court to challenge his conviction. What would the victim and the other people that identified them say if shown these pictures.
But the discovery of this doppelganger came only at the end of a case founded on what many consider to be an imperfect law enforcement tool.
Eyewitness identification testimony is always problematic because it's highly unreliable. Memories are not recorded playbacks like most of us think. Memories are recalled. It's a recollection, and there's a lot of inaccuracy that goes hand in hand with that.
And in fact,
about 72% of wrongful convictions come from mistaken eyewitness identifications.
The docket at the Innocence Project reflects the national statistics on wrongful convictions based on faulty eyewitness testimony.
If I was going to survive, I wanted to be able to bring the police a description of who had just raped me.
Jennifer Canino's detailed account of her rape led to the conviction of Ronald Cotton. In 1984, then 22-year-old Canino was attacked in her home.
I thought I heard a noise in my bedroom, and I said, "Who is that? Who's there?" And at that moment, someone jumped up and jumped on top of me. I screamed, and then he muffled my scream with a gloved hand and put a knife to the side of my neck.
The assailant brutally raped her. She said that she kept her eyes open throughout the attack, trying to memorize every identifying feature.
Maybe if he had an accent or a dialect that was different, or if he had any unusual scars or tattoos, or maybe he had lost a tooth or something that would be a feature that he couldn't alter later on.
Cotton, who was also then 22 years old, was sentenced to life in prison. He never gave up his fight, and in 1995, with the help of new DNA technology, he was exonerated.
My spirit just like disintegrated. I felt so much shame and so much guilt for having been really a large part responsible, not maliciously responsible, but imperfectly responsible for a man losing 11 years of his life. And it didn't matter how many times I said I was sorry. It didn't matter what I did. I couldn't give him back those years.
Jennifer Thompson and Ronald Cotton's case is just a very powerful reminder of how not accurate our memories often are, even when we want them to be. Their case just exemplifies a lot of the problems that happened in Mr. Jones's case across racial identification, a very bad police lineup. They are very closely linked in the issues that they raise.
Jones and Amos had never met until a hearing last Wednesday when witnesses admitted they couldn't tell the two apart, and the judge ordered Jones released.
It made a lot of things understandable for me concerning this whole case, because I just looked at how much me and this man looked alike, and it was unbelievable.
Amos has denied any involvement with the crime. He was never charged with or found guilty of the robbery. Though most anecdotes about doppelgangers may not usually involve crime and possible mistaken identity, the mysterious phenomenon in which two people look nearly identical is fairly common.
Are you two twins?
Like Maddie Renslow and Amber Eckhart, the pair are mistaken for twins, but are complete strangers.
No, you're kidding me.
Folklore has it that we each have 7 lookalikes out there in the world. Dublin native Niamh Gainey is working to prove that theory. She's already met 3 of her own doppelgangers.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Oh my God.
Since then, Niamh's become a doppelganger detective of sorts,
These are all the filtered matches.
co-founding the website twinstrangers.com to help others in their search.
We have over 1 million people registered to the website, and we have thousands of matches.
As for Richard Jones, the discovery of his doppelganger opened the door to his release. After nearly 2 decades, Jones has just begun rebuilding his life.
I'm definitely built for the challenge, just living my life, starting over, and just doing it right this time.
For Nightline, I'm Alex Perez in Chicago.
So, what'd you think about that? Wasn't that something? I know, Junie. I saw your comment, and it's like I was thinking the same thing. Right? But I also want to go to that website and find my 6 other people. So let me see. I'm going back up here. Yeah, wasn't that something? Right, Dana. So many innocent people are in prison. It's sad. And yeah, on death row. And to think about even how many probably have been executed. Why are we allowing people to be convicted with no physical evidence? Right. Just eyewitness. And then, did you hear though? The other guy, he's not been charged. Right, Jenny? Well, that's true, Ivy. Yeah, because they did look almost like twins. Yeah. Yeah, they said that too. And you noticed the lineup, right? You saw that. All the other guys were really, really dark skinned, except him. And he was pretty much the way she described the guy. So instead of putting a lot of similar guys like him, a lot of light-skinned guys, and, no, they put him in there with all these other really dark-skinned guys, and they all look similar. They all looked alike. So it was like, oh, yeah, he's the one. You did, Angel? Thank you. Oh, is it Angel? Okay, cool. I have a question for you guys, too, before we go. Ivy says, I think if people knew how many people have been released after being wrongly incarcerated, they would be very surprised. And there's a ton of innocent people still locked up. Yep. It's called twinstrangers.com. Share. The stories I've seen about wrongful convictions, the state usually fights against it, even when shown evidence they could be wrong. Yep. That lineup was a setup. Yep. I believe it was, Dana. Good night, Angel Bear. Sweet dreams. Thank you for coming, hon. Right back at you. I didn't think about that, Ange. That isn't how lineups are supposed to work. No, it's not, but it's not how they are supposed to. Oh, you're welcome, Cher. Ivy. So my question is, because somebody asked me something tonight in Kat's chat, Katie. She asked me if I'm not sure I can go this early, but she said she always misses my lives because she's always asleep by the time I do them. So she asked me if I could do them earlier. Well, actually, she asked me and Incog if we could do them earlier because she always misses them. And I told her I probably could starting next week. But, of course, I want to check with you all. Now, she asked me if I could do them around 6. I can't go that early. I wouldn't be able to do it that early. And especially on Tuesdays, I'd be colliding with, and actually, I think she said on the nights that Cat don't go live, but so on Tuesdays, I'd have to go my regular time anyway, but so I'm going to ask you guys if it's okay with you if I go earlier on my nights, or, you know, the nights that any of my sister or brother channels aren't live. So if it's okay with you guys, put a 1 in the chat, and beside that, put the earliest time that's okay with you. Like 7. That's okay, Angel. I'm probably going to sign off here in a few minutes, honey. Thanks for coming. So is like 7 okay with everybody? If that's okay, put a 1 in the chat. Cher said 6. I don't think I can do 6, Cher. I think that's too early. I mean, so it looks like it's okay for everybody. Okay. That's cool. You guys are so awesome, man. You don't know how awesome you are. Oh, I'm missing Nico. My adopted son's not here. Where's that little turkey at? I know where he's at. And you know somebody else I'm worried about? 10 Toes. So for all these people that we have mentioned tonight, let's just lift them up, guys, okay? For, you know, whatever. We don't know. We don't know. But let's just lift them up in prayer. As a matter of fact, let's just lift each other up. Yeah, like, because you know what? 9 times out of 10, most of us are fighting some type of battle in our lives that nobody knows about, whether small or big, and nobody needs to know about it. Why, Junie? Wonder why, honey. It doesn't seem like it's that far behind from your comments. I did message 10, so I hope to hear back from her. Okay, Sharon, I have been praying for her, honey. I have. And we prayed for her at church last night. And if y'all will pray for Radar, just unspoken, God knows. So, you know what? You guys are awesome. You really, really are. I totally mean that. If you guys knew, and I'm not just saying this to, you know, be saying it. If you knew how much I talked about you guys to everybody, which, I don't leave my home much, so that would be my mom and my husband, my son, my people at church. But that's how awesome you guys are. So, oh no. Hubby said, hefty lightning coming your way. They lost power here. Well, Ban said he had, Ban, you said you had thunder earlier there. Well, I heard thunder here too, and I'm like, please don't let me lose power, Lord, or internet. We did okay. I know, Sharon, me too. I miss you guys too when I don't come on. Oh, that's weird, Junie. Hi, Mary Wood. Thank you. And prayers to you, darling. Aw, thanks, Taffy. I was going to tell you guys something else too. Now, I was going to tell you what I've already said it, but I'm going to say it again. And I'll have it scheduled tomorrow for Thursday. We'll be doing the Tabitha Tudor case, and that's a Kentucky case. And it is very heartbreaking too. That's requested by Taffy. And so that's what we're going to do Thursday. I really need to, Chris has been sending me some cases, and I, I really need to look into some of those. I would kind of like to do a couple innocent project cases. I like victory cases, happy cases. Is it Tennessee, Taffy? Why am I thinking it's Kentucky? Man, I've been thinking Kentucky. Why was I thinking that? I was trying to look at both of them at the same time. First couple of days, and I'm like, oh, you can't do that, Angie. You can't do that. Your mind is not strong enough. That's right, Nashville. You're doggone right, Taffy. I don't know why I was thinking Kentucky, though. Anyway, so yes, I'll be doing that on Thursday. And I don't know. I'll have to look I have not checked my email. Man, it might be full. I've got that one case that, this person wants to stay anonymous, but she wants me to do it. That's really deep, though. It's really, really, it's got to take me a while. So, anyways, Mary, I am so glad that you dropped by, but I'm so sorry that you missed the whole thing, darling. Not for about what, guys? A week, maybe? I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him. Let's see. Where did I see him last? Incogs? Oh, no, I can't post it. Yes, I can. Does anybody have it? If not, I can get it really quick. I'm getting it right now. But if somebody gets it before me, that's fine. Oh, 10 just commented on one of my posts, so. Okay, I've got it. Oh, man, I'm telling you. I just thought of something as I'm doing this. I'm laughing in my mind. Well, now, what's going on? Okay, now I'm... Is that it? Oh, it went through twice. I'm sorry, guys. Because it didn't look like it was posting. I posted it from in YouTube, and then it didn't look like it was posting, so I posted it here. I don't know what that second one is. It doesn't look like the same thing, though. Hey, bestie. What you doing? I don't know what that first one is. Let me make sure the first one's right, or that one's right. Okay, that one is correct. But I don't know what this one is. I'm going to delete this first one. But the second one is correct, guys. So, why is it still showing up? Shouldn't be showing up. I deleted it in YouTube. But anyway, that first one is the link, and it does work. Share. So if you guys can share that, and whoever hasn't signed it can sign it and share it. Yeah, so I don't know, band, I don't know if you've been here, but Bree is my bestest friend in the whole world. We grew up together. We've been friends forever. I didn't know if you had, she hadn't been here for a while. She's back to work now, so I'm surprised she's up this late. But bestie, guess what? I hate to break the news to you, darling. I was getting ready to sign off. But if you rewatch this, I want you to know it is extremely, extremely, extremely heartbreaking and disturbing. It's like, it's just horrifically, horrifically sad. And I mean, oh, that's right. It is fall break for you guys all week. My grandkids only got one day. It's like, what? Profiling Evil's, I like their channel. I mean, I haven't been able to watch a lot of them lately. And I do like It's a Crime, too. I was just surprised that nobody had covered this one. Oh, she didn't get the fall break either, Bestie. I was glad to see you had a nice weekend though, relaxing, and I know you and our other friend very deserving of one. But I bet you if you were camping, were you? I can't remember. If you were, you froze your butt off. So, guys, well, Sharon, honey, before you leave. Oh, okay. I thought you went camping. Sharon, are you still here? Oh, that's right, Bree. I'm going to sign off, honey. Well, I think she already went, so we'll wait for her to get back. But in the meantime, I want to thank you guys all so much for coming tonight. And discussing this with us. And I know Dana appreciates it. This case meant a lot to her. I know, Bestie, I could tell. Good night, Taffy, honey. Have a good night. See you Thursday. Wish me luck. Good night, Mary. Thanks for stopping in, honey. Night, Junebug. Good night, Crime. Good night, Cher. Good night, Lake. Thank you guys so much. Sweet dreams. Rest well. I'm just waiting on Sharon. Good night, Bestie. Thanks for stopping in. I'll be back on Thursday, Bestie, with another, I think it's well, I mean, I don't want to say great story. I mean, how do you say that? It's a heartbreaking story. It's requested. It's from Tennessee, Nashville. Good night, band. Sweet dreams, you guys. Thanks for coming. Good night, Cher. Thanks for coming, honey. Much love to you, too. That Sharon better come back in here. I'm waiting on her. She'll probably not come back because she's hearing everybody say goodnight. She's got herself a new puppy. Finally found her one. Oh, thank you, Junie. Oh, I'm getting tired. I can't stand this weather, though. I know that. I hate the cold, and I hate that cloudy days. Junie, just a tad bit. She doesn't have a clot, but they're not sure what's going on. She's got a scan Thursday. Thank you, Hubs. You got power now? But she has a scan on Thursday, Junie, so I'm hoping we'll know something. My son came and seen her on her birthday, though, and surprised her. And I'm telling you, it made her day. Just made her day. So you got power now? Okay. Well, I hope I don't lose mine. Oh, my gosh. Hold on a second, guys. I thought I burnt my husband's supper. That's what I was scared of. I was afraid I would lose my supper or power while the chicken was in the oven. I will, Junie. Thank you. Well, I don't know if Sharon's coming back. She's still logged in here because her name highlights. But yeah, I hope it gets better because she was so depressed. She couldn't go to church last Wednesday and then Sunday and last night. But she thinks she's going to go tomorrow. So we'll see. But boy, I'll tell you, I mean, my son just made her day. It was her birthday. And like I said, she was depressed, and him and my daughter-in-law came out, and I mean, I'll tell you, it was awesome. Well, I think I'm going to sign off, guys. I think Sharon is not coming back, and I'll message her and let her know that I signed off. I want to check in with her anyways about her daughter. So I will see you guys on Thursday, okay? And I want y'all to have a good night. Those of you that are still here, there's 7 of you. So sweet dreams. Have a good day tomorrow. And I'll see you back on Thursday. Okay. So good night. Sweet dreams again. There she is. I didn't know if he's coming back, darling. Okay. All right. Good night, guys. Sweet dreams and God bless. See you Thursday. Thank you all.